Students, here's the review for the Unit 5 test that you all have coming up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first problem in each column, and then what that will do is help you with the other two problems that are similar to it in each row. So whatever I type or draw on the page, that's something that you need to write or draw, write on your paper also for every problem, so that way you have an understanding of how to solve these problems. So with the trapezoid, well, with all the formulas, what I'm going to do is write it out in words, and maybe that will assist you better in understanding how to find the area of these shapes. With the trapezoid, remember I told you that they're not going to give you the formula on the milestone, but since it's very similar to the formula for area of a triangle, it is something you can memorize. So for the formula for the area of a trapezoid, I will say add base 1 and base 2 multiply by the height and then divide by 2. Now if you're asking, well, what's base 1 and base 2? Remember I told you a trapezoid has two bases. Let me change the color. Alright, so trapezoid has two bases. You can say the top is base 1 and the bottom is base 2. So what's the first thing that I wrote to find the area of the trapezoid? Add base 1 and base 2. So I need to add the numbers. Let me change the colors again. I'm going to make it purple. Add the bases. Let me go ahead and underline in the same color too. Add base 1 and base 2. So 6 plus 8 equals 14. The next thing that I said to do was to multiply by the height. Remember I told you height is straight up and down. It makes a 90-degree angle. It makes an L with the base of the shape. So the height is always straight up and down. So I'm going to multiply this number by the height, which is 3. So 14 times 3 is 42. Then the last thing to do, because I'm not done, because I'm reading everything that I typed out, the last thing to do is then to divide by 2. So 42 divided by 2 is 21 square inches. I'm going to put inches, square inches. Now I know I've been writing inches squared or centimeters squared. I'm going to go back and forth and write both as I'm doing this so that you all can get used to seeing the answers written in both ways. So these other two problems in this row, you solve them the same way. You need to first write the formula. Add base 1, base 2. If you need to label them, do that. Multiply it by the height, and then divide that answer by 2. You've solved it the same way. Now, find the area of the parallelogram. I'm going to first type in the formula in words, because again, maybe this will assist you in finding the area. So base times height. That is it. There is literally nothing else to do in finding the area of a parallelogram. Again, remember that your height forms an L with the base. Your height is straight up and down. That means I don't need this number at all. That means I don't need this number at all. So all I'm going to do is just multiply 4 times 10. There is nothing else to do besides multiply 4 times 10, which is 40. And here I will use feet squared because again, I want you all to get used to seeing both units. So again, that is how you find the area of a parallelogram. A right triangle is shown below. What is the area of the right triangle? I'll use this color. Square inches. So first, again, write the formula. And yes, you need to write this formula for every problem. I'm going to write it out. Base times height. And it is a triangle. So I said a triangle was similar to a trapezoid, the formula. So I'm not doing just the base times height. That's parallelogram. What am I supposed to do next? Think about, remember, a triangle is half of a quadrilateral. So after I do base times height, then divide by 2. That is what you should have said. So again, your height makes an L. It makes a 90-degree angle with your base. That means I am not using that number. I only need the base and the height. So the base times the height is 12. I said I would underline in the same colors, base times height. Then the next thing to do is to divide that by 2. 12 divided by 2 is 6 inches squared. So that is how you find the area of a triangle. And you solve all of them the same way. The next one. The border of a small town's population is shown below. I want you all to be able to see all of this. The mayor wants to know the town's population per square kilometer. So she needs to know the area of the town. What's the area of the town in square kilometers? So here we have a shape, a figure that is created by combining several different polygons. So the first thing I'm going to do is draw lines to separate to figure out what polygons I have in this figure. So I'm going to first draw my lines and separate it. And I see from that I have a triangle at the top. I have a rectangle at the bottom, middle, sorry, and I have a rectangle at the bottom. Tangle. How do I know they're rectangles and not squares? I'm waiting for you to answer. Yes, because the side lengths are not the same. So, does it matter which shape you find the area of first? No, it does not. I would say start with the easiest one that gives you both numbers that you need, the base and the height. So I'm going to start with this rectangle here. I'm going to change my color. I'll use yellow. So this rectangle down here at the bottom is 6 and 4. This side is 4. This 5 goes over here on this side. So the area of a rectangle, yes, you still need to write the formula, is base times height, which is, for this problem, 6 times 4, and I'll just write it underneath. This is the dot that means multiplication, which is 24 kilometers squared. So I'm done with this rectangle. Now I want to look at this rectangle in the middle. I know I need to find the base and the height of this rectangle, because again I need to write in my formula, base times height. I know the height of my rectangle. My base is here. I know my height. My height is 4. But I'm looking for my base. Remember, we still have to use numbers from the other shape. So I know that this length is this part plus this part gives me the base. This part is 6. Because remember, a rectangle numbers across are the same length. This part here is 5. So 6 plus 5 gives me the total length, which is 11. So my base is 11. My height is 4. And that equals 44 kilometers squared. And then the last thing I need to do is find the area of the triangle, which remember, it is not just base times height. You see, that's the area of a rectangle. It's base times height, then divide by 2. I'm going to change my color again. Use a darker blue. To find the base of this triangle, which is not given, but again, look across. I just found the base of the rectangle. That's 11. So that means my base for my triangle is also 11 because these two are the same length. So now I need my height. That's where again I have to use the numbers over here, the heights from the other two rectangles. All three shapes, when I put together the triangle, the rectangle, and the rectangle, I should get 8. Alright, so I noticed there was a mistake on the worksheet. That's why I stopped and said, wait, something's wrong. So, once again, if I see that, I know that the triangle plus the rectangle plus the rectangle, all of those heights together have to equal 9. What was the height of this rectangle? The height was 4, right here. What was the height of the other rectangle? It was 4, right here. So that means this 4 plus that 4 so far is 8. That's why I had to change the height. So now, if all three of them is 9, what's left over? And that would be 1. So the height of my triangle is 1. 11 times 1 is 11. 11 divided by 2. Miss Ellis, I can't divide an odd number by 2. Yes, you can. It would just be a decimal. Remember, half of 10 is 5. So half of 11 is 5.5 kilometers. And I accidentally wrote over the decimal. Kilometers squared. We are not done. I found the area of each polygon. I need to find the total area of all of these shapes. So that means this area is 5.5, 5.5. This area is 44, and this area is 24. So when I add, all three of those numbers, 24 plus 44, should have just lined them up here. Let's just do that. Make it easier. Line up my whole numbers in the decimal. So I'm just adding my whole numbers first. 24